this Shabbat is a special Shabbat. It's called Shabbat Shekalim, the Shabbat of the Shekels, and it comes to introduce the month of Adat, the one that contains Purim. We reflect the Shekalim, the Shekels, in two ways. The first is that we read a Torah portion that talks about the donation of half a shekel by every Israelite adult that was used for the upkeep of the Mishkan, the desert sanctuary. In the Haftorah we read how King Yehoash instituted a similar system of donation, again to maintain a building, this time the temple. But these days the shekalim are reflected in a slightly different way. It is still the custom in some communities to give 3 half units of the local currency as a shekalim, a shekel donation. But that money is used not for the upkeep of buildings, but specifically to sustain the poor of the community. It's an interesting transition. On the one hand, we can say that the buildings, the institutions of the community, are important and require a separate donation to maintain them. But on the other hand, in the modern instance, we seem to be saying that it's not so much the buildings, but the people who come into the buildings that are important. That a community should be measured not so much by the beauty of its architecture, but more by the way it cares for the most vulnerable within it. So which is it? Is it that buildings, institutions are more important than people? Is it that people are more important than the buildings and the institutions which contain them? Of course it's easy to square the circle and say, well, obviously we need both. Yes, we do. But Shabbat Shekalim points up that question for us every year. As we go into the joy of Purim, let's ask ourselves, what is it about our institutions that demands that we maintain them? And what is it about our hearts that demands that we maintain those within our community who can no longer maintain themselves? And perhaps in exploring the tension of this question, we can become a better community overall. That was your Torah in 2.